What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, man. So y'all already know what's going on. All right, y'all. Now, we're going to jump straight into it, right? Today, we're here to talk about the Tyler Perry lawsuit. And at first, when it happened, the breaking news of the big $260 million lawsuit, a couple of people hit me up asking me to do a video about it, right? So I already knew I would get to it. Kind of glad I didn't just jump right on it and just read the lawsuit and talk about it, because I came across an old interview with Vlad TV, someone that he interviewed, and y'all gonna find this to be pretty interesting. It was kind of like foreshadowing to this happening, right? And I guess, you won't be really surprised. I don't think anyone is surprised when this lawsuit came out. Maybe about the details, maybe. But essentially, this is a whole casting couch type of lawsuit. And we're going to read from it here in a second. But these two clips I found were pretty interesting. I may end up having to cover the interview on Vlad TV, the clip from Vlad TV, because their agency, whoever's like his agent, they copyright a bunch of his stuff. But we're going to get to that in a second, right? Let's go ahead and get into why you clicked on this video. Just for the people who really don't know, right? We'll go over a few of the details. It says an actor who worked on the Tyler Perry created TV drama, The Oval, has filed a lawsuit alleging Perry leveraged his industry power to repeatedly sexually assault and harass him while keeping him quiet. The lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles Superior Court by actor Derek Dixon, who appeared on 85 episodes of the BET series. He seeks at least $260 million in damages. It says Mr. Perry, as in Tyler Perry, took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to sexually exploit a dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him career advancement and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in his show, only to subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault, and battery, and professional retaliation. So like I said, pretty much sounds like a casting couch, right? You do this, I'll go ahead and produce your show, I'll get you on my show, etc. So Tyler Perry's attorney said that the allegations are false, of course, and it appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. So the lawsuit says that Tyler Perry first noticed Dixon in 2019 when Dixon was a part of an event staff at a Tyler Perry party. Dixon would first appear in a small role on the Perry series Ruthless before getting the bigger role on the political drama The Oval. Tyler Perry began sending unwanted sexual text messages to Dixon. Some screenshots actually prove this. Quote, "What it's going to take for you to have guiltless sex." And that's coming from Tyler Perry. The lawsuit says Tyler Perry offered Dixon an increasingly prominent role on the show as his sexual advances became more aggressive. The actor says he tried to remain friendly while maintaining boundaries. Dixon did his best to tiptoe around Mr. Perry's sexual aggression while keeping on Mr. Perry's good side. So it sounds like Dixon participated in some of this stuff in order to keep getting some of those benefits in the acting career, or he just wasn't completely down, or hey, maybe something happened that was worse, or something that he wasn't prepared for, and he decided to go ahead and make this lawsuit, right? Now it says the lawsuit says Tyler Perry eventually sexually assaulted Dixon on multiple occasions, including an instance where he forcibly pulled off Mr. Dixon's clothing, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself on Dixon. Dixon told him no, but was initially ignored until he was able to de-escalate the situation and change the subject. The following day, Tyler Perry apologized and told Dixon he would work with Dixon on a TV pilot Dixon was seeking to produce. Dixon later received a raise, and the lawsuit suggests it was a part of an attempt to keep him quiet. The fear of his character dying kept him quiet as intended. Then it goes to say Tyler Perry also produced and bought the rights to the pilot called Losing It, which basically his intention was having leverage over the actor. The lawsuit describes several other assaults, including one where Dixon was staying in a guest room of Perry's house when Perry climbed into bed with him uninvited and began groping him. This is crazy. Dixon would eventually move from Atlanta home to Perry's production studio to Los Angeles to put distance between the two of them. Then in 2024, Dixon filed a complaint, and now we are here. So in this part of the video, y'all, we'll go ahead and jump into this clip from Vlad TV. I didn't know this, and although I watched the show The Boondocks myself, for y'all that don't know, you'll be quite surprised of some of the strings Tyler Perry had to pull in order for The Boondocks to not air a certain episode, all right? So with that being said, y'all, check this out.
Then there was the Pause episode, which features, stars a character named Winston Jerome.
Yes.
Who is very lightly veiled as Tyler Perry.
Yes.
Winston Jerome is a closeted cross-dressing cult leader whose love of the Christian faith is a mask for his true sexuality. That's the way it was described.
Yeah, that's all.
It's a fair description.
Yes.
From what I understand, Tyler Perry was furious over this. Furious.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Have you ever run into Tyler Perry in any capacity?
I haven't.
I assume you haven't gotten hired for any Tyler Perry movies?
No, but there was a time. One time I was in Atlanta, and Michael Jai White, who I worked with Black Dynamite, he was shooting something for Tyler, and he was like, "Oh, you're in Atlanta. You should come by the set." And then I was like, "All right, cool." And then we got off the phone. He called me back, and he said, "Second thought." I forgot about that. He's still don't come by the set. I was like, all right, I understand. But what's funny about that episode is, so originally the character's name was Tyler Perry, and he looked exactly like Tyler Perry, and that was the rare moment where Adult Swim was like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like they were being irresponsible with Dope. They said you can't use Tyler Perry's name, you can't make it look like Tyler Perry. And then so we found another name, right? It was actually his real name. And we got it under the radar for...
Wait, his real name is Winston Jerome?
No. It was another name. Okay. I don't remember what it was, but we found out his real name, and we changed the script. And then Adult Swim got it, and they didn't flag it. So we
Emmett Perry Jr.
It wasn't. So we used Emmett Perry.
Okay.
I think it was Emmett. Yeah, it was Emmett Perry. So it got under the radar, and then about 2 weeks later, they caught it. Right. And that's when they called us kind of like screaming at us like, yo, for real, like no bullshit. Like you can't do that. Don't try to play no fucking games. Like you can't. We're like, cool. So we changed it to Winston Jerome. We made him look different. And the episode aired. And at least the way this was told to us from the network, Tyler himself called and said, you guys better not ever air that shit again. And at the time, he had a lot of shows at TBS. We were just a little small black cartoon. Like Tyler Perry was God.
Now, I have never heard that interview, never actually saw the episode. So I couldn't quite catch if the episode ever aired. Maybe it did once, and he got the call from Tyler Perry to just scrap it completely. He said it was furious because he was a cross-dressing, freaky cult leader. And he looked just like Tyler Perry. I mean, he looked just like him. Just don't got the 5 o'clock shadow or the beard that he wears. A cross-dressing freak cult leader. So the Boondocks has kind of been like The Simpsons. Not as, if you want to call it prophetic as The Simpsons show, foreshadowing a bunch of future events, which were mostly done by Masons who are writing the show for The Simpsons, so on, right? The Boondocks kind of predicted a lot of stuff about the industry, mostly about feminizing black men in hip hop. They've predicted a lot of little stuff like that, People used to always say Young Thug was Gangstalicious in Boondocks. I think if that was his name, right? Just, a bunch of things like that, right? And I think this is another case where a joke, or if it was ever a joke, turned into reality, or better yet, it was already reality back then. because everybody in the industry, outside of us, people who aren't involved in the industry, we don't know until something really comes out. So maybe it wasn't a joke. It was the truth, which is why Tyler Perry got so mad. A lot of people tried to defend Tyler Perry and be like, yo, of course, a straight man gonna be mad if you portray me as this, but really, you portray yourself that in real life. You already dress up as Medea. You just, to the public, you're not known as a freak cult leader until now, until this lawsuit came out. But, like I said, Boondocks, they did that episode a very long time ago. I'm not exactly sure the year that it was, but it's been known that Tyler Perry has been a freak this entire time. Why? Because it takes me back to Christian Keys. Now, a lot of y'all are going to recognize this face because, if I'm not mistaken, he played in Diary of a Mad Black Woman back in 2005. Also, I'm going to show you the clips because there's an IG Live that he did about a year or two ago where he talked about a giant black man, sexually harassing him, attempted sexual assault, asking him to get naked, bend over for $100K, all kind of freaky stuff. He said it was a giant black Hollywood billionaire exec. I mean, it's only one. Come on. Tyler Perry's 6'5", bro. He's huge. The man probably close to 300 pounds, or at least he used to be. So even with the lawsuit now, of course he coming on all aggressive to these dudes. I mean, if he got any kind of slight toughness about him, he's 6'5", almost 300 pounds. He having his way with these little actors. It's neither here or there, but I'm not surprised. This episode was, he put that call in like, hell no, y'all not airing this. You know what I'm saying? You putting this out on my name, so on and so on. I'm Tyler Perry. But anyways, I'm going to keep this part short because I got a couple of clips from the IG Live that Christian Keys did. Now, mind you, after he came on IG and did this live, which I think they bullied him into deleting it, he's never talked about this again. So he probably caught a little, he probably caught some threats or who knows behind that IG Live. And he never talked about it publicly again. But y'all will be quite surprised about this because he doesn't actually say Tyler Perry's name, but they put it together because he talked about walking around with a recorder when he was on the set in 2005. He didn't say he was on the set of the movie, but he said in 2005, he started walking around with pen recorders and these little things that record conversations and stuff in '05. And this is when he said a lot of the sexual harassment was taking place. And it just so happened that in '05, he starred in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, right? So without me telling the whole thing, let's go ahead and jump into this clip. Check this out.
I'm not sure, based on this person's claims and brags, that he's literally got, at the same time this person was sexually harassing me for years. He was claiming, that he had multiple young black men on the payroll, and they just had to show up when he requested them to be there. And clearly that's why it felt to him that it was okay to say these things. And I want to have these discussions. I want to be transparent with y'all about that. I've done my best to forgive this person, but it happens. It happens. It's not just women that have to deal with it, but it's also men sometimes. I've kept one of these on me since '05. Whether it's a keychain recorder or a pen, because most predators would check your phone. And once the sexual harassment started, I was like, well, I got to protect me because I'm saying no, and I don't want this person as powerful as they are, to try to get in the way of my work. So I started recording. So I have them offering me money to take my clothes off. I have recordings when I wasn't working with them or for them. I have recordings of them confessing that, the other guys that they have on the payroll, all of the above. And the difference is, the wonderful thing about confidentiality agreements and non-disclosure agreements is that they can't prevent you from turning all of those things over to the police, because sexual harassment is a crime. Attempted sexual assault is a felony. I'm good. God got me, because he was watching when I was offered these opportunities and I didn't say yes. I didn't sell my soul or my ass. Excuse my French, y'all. I know some of y'all, hopefully y'all have no kids around, but I didn't sell nothing for success. It's like, nah, that's not what I want. I ain't into that. I ain't into dudes. I got an only beard in the bed policy. Mine is the only beard in the bed. Yeah, we ain't doing none of that. I don't get out like that. And these people kept on for years. Sexual harassment is a crime. Attempted sexual assault is a felony.
Like I said, he never actually said Tyler Perry. Also in that hour-long IG Live, yes, it was an hour, but it was pretty slow because he talked kind of slow throughout. But I got y'all pretty much the gist of it, right? He also said if he was to play the voice recordings, you know exactly who it is. Now, mind you, something you may have not known, Diary of a Mad Black Woman was Tyler Perry's debut film. He came from the theater world, where he used the money that he made from theater to basically produce Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Cost him $5 million. In turn, he made $50 million off of his debut movie. So it's pretty interesting that was his first big movie that this guy starred in. He didn't have like a major role or anything like that, but it doesn't dismiss the possibility that he was sexually harassed by Tyler Perry even back then. So it lets you know Tyler Perry was either already on that type of casting couch timing, or, he chose that door as well by somebody above him that even allowed that movie to gross 50 million. Because, if you're not in the club, you're not making that kind of movie. You're not even getting your shit in theaters, none of that. So it's clear from the jump, Tyler Perry had chose his path, and he started immediately, because Christian Keys, he did say these people at one point. So it was probably more than just Tyler Perry. And you see what he said. He wasn't willing to sell his soul. He wasn't willing to sell his behind. So I was like, you know what? But now that I did this video, it makes a lot more sense with the whole Tyler Perry thing. And it goes back to what I said in the beginning. I don't think any of us are that surprised. I mean, there's probably been rumors going around way longer than this. I mean, obviously, this show, the Boondocks, and, Christian Keys situation, these are years ago, over 10 years ago. So I am not surprised. And, with truth coming out the way that it is today, we might hear another case. When one person comes and tells all, usually another person follows. So it'll be pretty interesting if Christian Keys comes out and says anything. Although I don't think he's, spoken anything about this case now. So yeah, y'all, gotta go ahead and wrap this video up, man. That's all I got for y'all on this one. Anything else I might have missed and y'all want to add, be sure to let me know in the comments, man. So with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.